We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet, where we're a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Prodigy Episode 4, Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher.
Hey, crew.
I thought it was going to be a Chakotay
Hey guys,
episode
how's it going?
because of that name.
I thought it was going to be Chakotay too. I don't think we're going to see Chakotay this before the break.
Well, the show's
I know,
going to air
it's-
over a whole year period, so
Yeah,
by the time
it's
the
gonna
last
be
5
crazy.
episodes air, it'll be like fall of 2022 or something.
We have Blue in the audience. Hey, Blue. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Blue.
What was Jankum eating? Yeah, I'm actually curious too. Those pesky Thoron emissions. Is that like something that happens a lot in Voyager? The Thoron emissions, Toddy?
That does ring a bell.
I can't
Thoron
think of.
emissions. I feel like that's a common name that you have said there.
I only asked Sean because it's his favorite. Everybody Voyager is his favorite show. So if you ever take Sean too seriously about like his tastes about Star Trek, just remember that Star Trek Voyager is his favorite show.
Voyager is my favorite Trek as well.
Apparently,
I'm
it's
just
apparently it's a Deep Space Nine thing.
Oh, okay.
Thoron
Thoron.
emissions.
I don't remember what the Thoron emissions were.
Me either.
Not to go too far straight.
Well,
but
they're
last night-
radioactive isotopes created by the decay of thorium. Come on.
Oh, okay, thank you. Last night I watched Sacrifice of Angels, and I watched it on a small screen, and it looked HD. It looked like it was already remastered. It's very cool.
Oh, wow.
Because it's tiny. It's like this small, so like
Sacrifice of
looks-
the Angels. Which one is that?
that's the big one before the. I was gonna watch the wedding episode because Star Trek, the official Twitter account had tweeted about how it was the anniversary of that episode, but then I saw that the one previous to it was that, so I watched Sacrifice of Angels. It's the one where they take back Deep Space Nine from the Dominion and the Cardassians. But anyways, we're here to talk about this episode of
Prodigy.
Prodigy. So who would like to give a quick episode summary? We always put Toddy on the spot, but I feel like since Braxton's here, maybe
Sure,
maybe
I'll
you could
give it a
do
go.
But it's gotta be a quick summary, like not like one of
Absolutely.
my long summaries.
It'll be like 90 seconds.
Oh, and I'm gonna put
Um,
my spoiler warning up while you're doing the
Snappy.
summary. I forgot to do it.
So after the near death experience of being in the wake of all the interstellar stuff with the dying stars, they end up being on a planet that's really beautiful. Before they get down, Janeway's like, "Oh, for our away mission today, I'm going to assign you tricorders." So we learn what tricorders are, and then we learn and then she also assigns them phasers. So we learn what phasers are, and the Tellarite shoots himself. Thankfully, they are by default set to stun. So they get down. And also, she lets them know that they have a vehicle for the away mission, and it's this very cool, like 6-wheeled vehicle that I really want as a toy. So they get down.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
They're gonna have their away mission, but Dahl just like speeds off. Gwen is now imprisoned again. And the kids just kind of go off all by themselves, and their tricorders tell them, "Oh, there's no life on this planet, but like everything."
Well,
looks
no,
like
like no sentient life, right? It
Oh.
was teeming with like what was it they were saying, like a psyllium based, yeah, like plant life, like yeah.
But it looks so lush. So they go off on their missions. The planet, shows them like whatever they want to see, and then captures them. And then, Dahl is able to break out from his vision, and then save everyone. But they end up getting crashed on the planet, so they're kind of stuck. I was wondering how the kids are going to get themselves out. This was a good episode.
And it's scary too. I feel like that. I like if I were a little kid, like when Janeway, like fake Janeway, plant based Janeway, is like, stay.
Vegan Janeway.
Stay. And some of those
Yeah.
tendrils are really scary too.
Yeah, so it's a
That-
two-parter too. Also, we got left with a cliffhanger.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys about that. Were you guys expecting them to not get off the ship? Because like when this began, I was like, okay, so they're gonna encounter some problems on the planet, but then they're gonna manage to escape. But then the moment the ship crashed, I hovered my mouse. I was like, where are we in the episode? We're at the end. Holy shit, they've actually crashed the ship. They're staying here, at least for one more episode.
It was-
Were you guys expecting that or no?
No, I was surprised. I was surprised when I only had time to watch this episode once. Unfortunately, I like to try to watch them
I've seen it twice now.
at least. Yeah, I try to.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't expecting the ship to be in such jeopardy because the ship contains Janeway. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like, I feel like the ship has like crashed. If like the ship is going to be in horrible condition. Like, of course, they like don't know how to fix it. They barely know how to fly it. What are the kids going to do? Who's going to come to the rescue?
I'm hoping the Protostar has like that self-healing technology or something. I don't know. Like, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it was totally unexpected, the ending, and I didn't realize it was going to be a cliffhanger. I thought it was going to be like a one and done type of thing too. Like, oh, we visited this planet. It was kind of scary, and we all made it to the ship on time, and we put Gwyn back in jail. But now. The diviner knows where we are, so we have to go.
There's
somewhere
that too.
else.
That's a bit terrifying. Big bad guy knows where they are.
Yeah, and he's gonna come for them, and they're not gonna. I have a feeling that they're gonna just in the nick of time. They're gonna. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah,
who's gonna fix the ship, dude?
Pretty good summary.
I haven't seen it. It might not be broken.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's broken. She's a tough little ship. She's like the Defiant. I feel like Protostar is.
Protostar is very advanced.
It's true.
Yeah, this is like, so from in my mind, this is supposed to be taking place in like 2382 or 2383, from what I understand. But the ship seems really, really advanced. Like, it's not at all where even the Enterprise E was at this point. Like, it's way more advanced than that. But then I guess the whole thing is it was experimental. It was like new technologies and stuff. Because the tricorders they have is completely new stuff.
I feel like they have like a mycelium drive or something, because like the dude was like, "Oh, it's got 2 warp cores," and then
but I don't think it's a. I don't think it's
a transwarp. They've got the transwarp drive.
But transwarp drive? Sorry, I might be wrong here, but we've had transwarp since like the Excelsior. Like, what's this transwarp? I thought the Enterprise D had transwarp. Like, why is this special?
No, transwarp is something they invented in like Voyager. I think it was. They came up with transwarp.
I thought the Borg had transwarp technology.
The Borg have transwarp, yeah.
No, the Excelsior, when they come to space dock, Sue's like, she's got transwarp drive. Like, he says that, yeah.
Oh,
I feel like they assimilated it from the Borg, like after their.
No. Well, we'll have to look it up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I think it's something else that you guys are thinking of, not transwarp.
I think it's something else that you're thinking of.
No,
I think it is 2 Starfleet boy. I don't think
he says no. He doesn't care for what we're saying here.
I know I'm right on this one. Someone in the audience, please help me out here. One of the things I thought was interesting is the captain's log.
It was transwarp beaming that they had in 2387, sir.
Which is different from transwarp
drive.
2387. What are you talking about? Transwarp beaming
and you're thinking of transwarp beaming from Kelvin.
2387 is
you're thinking of Kelvin.
That's TNG.
Oh, you're talking about Kelvin stuff. Okay.
No, I'm not.
About that.
Transwarp beaming is
Scotty, Future Spock gives him the formula for transwarp beaming, which he already had by 2387.
The Federation also attempted to develop a transwarp drive in the USS Excelsior in 2285, termed the Great Experiment. However, the effort was ultimately unsuccessful.
Because Scotty took all the components out.
The Borg used transwarp signals for communication, and the Borg transwarp drive was based on generating a transwarp conduit through transwarp space. This technology was first encountered by the Federation in the 2350s by the USS Raven. So
I'm
the mother and father of.
So I was right about the
Never
Excelsior,
mind.
but I also could have sworn that the D had transwarp drive. But whatever,
I think you're all totally off. On
we're
this
all
one.
we're nerd.
Well,
we're,
I'm
we're
reading
like
from
focused-
memory.
I think it's phase shifting technology. Like
No, but
Pegasus.
there's literally a panel where it says.
I think it
transwarp
cloaks. I think you're gonna find out the ship cloaks at one
On the
point,
ship.
and they just didn't even know it.
All right, so Darren's telling us that it's what it is a transwarp conduit. So maybe that drive can create a transwarp conduit.
Well,
That's-
it's literally written transwarp drive on one of the panels on the ship.
Sure, fine, but maybe that's what it does. Is it creates this transwarp? That makes sense because in the opening credits you see it pop out of that weird.
Yeah, they kind of spoiled that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Whatever
In
it
the
is, it would
opening
need
credits.
dilithium because future Trek now has established that they never create anything that replaces dilithium.
It's very
fueled-
true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
So they have to be careful with the
actually
cannon
need
there because
dilithium. Tread lightly. Hagen
What did you
brothers.
think?
Mhm.
It was nice to hear Dal giving a captain's log. I really like that.
I do not like Dal.
You don't like him? I liked him better in this episode. Why don't you? Why don't you
I
like
knew
him?
that was coming. I heard Braxton. Oh my god, my camera! I heard Braxton breathe in as you talked about Dal, and I knew he was gonna say that. I don't know why.
Oh, dude, like
I
Dal is
felt
so
it.
bad. Like he's kind of incompetent. Like he is like really impulsive. He's really arrogant. He doesn't think of his crew members, even though he considers himself the captain. Like how he took off, like and just like left everybody. Like the captain doesn't do that.
Yeah, he's
Like-
very selfish. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're setting it up so that Gwen eventually becomes the more competent leader. She like goes on when she turns to their side and like they're finally together as a group. It's gonna be like, yeah, Gwen, you lead the show because you clearly she knows about the ship. She's been learning about
Yeah,
this stuff
she's gonna
her
be the
whole life.
captain. Yeah.
Dal. It would be incompetent for them to continue Dal as like the de facto leader because he has to learn like to cooperate and actually learn some things about the ship. I mean, Jankum Pog knows more about the ship than Dal does. You know what I mean?
Well, he just likes to bang. on
Zero
things,
knows
but
more
yeah.
about the ship. Murph probably knows more about the ship.
Yeah.
I think
Murph's the only one that seems to
Dal
be
is
looking around the
really
place.
he's really motivated by his big ego and his hubris. And you got to remember he's been traumatized. He's also very distrustful. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's not going to be fooled again, I suppose, in his mind. But Janeway, scary Janeway, was cool. I liked Janeway's interaction with Gwen too.
We got a little more insight before we leave the subject of Doll. We got a little more insight when the Cilium life form was creating the hologram or the illusion. We saw parents. Like that was his. It kind of creates your desire, right? And for Dal, it was parents, but you couldn't see their face. Their backs were turned. So he doesn't know what they look like. But that's really sad. I thought that was like a good touching moment, and it kind of reveals like what you were saying, PJ, like, you know, he's mistrustful and stuff like that. So I really thought that was cool. I think Dal's going to stay captain through the series. I think it's going to be interesting to have the more competent person have to work with someone who's in charge who's less competent, because that happens a lot in real life. So
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, so I
Would
feel
you
like
argue that that's a Spock-Kirk dynamic, or do you think that Kirk and Spock are equally competent but in different fields?
I think it's different because Kirk is like very competent. Like he's established in the show as, even though he doesn't show it, they said at the Academy he
was a bookworm.
a stack of books with legs, right? So Kirk actually knows a ton, but you know, he's just fun loving I could see like Dal turning into someone like Kirk. I feel like that he has that, you know, jump into things kind of like thing. If he was just like less selfish and less, he's like a
no
Kelvin
mariner.
He's no mariner. That's true.
Well, the thing is, he's not as like he's very arrogant and does like in the same way Mariner and Burnham are, but he's not as competent as them, because like Mariner and Burnham, they know what the fuck they're doing, right?
Is Burnham arrogant?
She was a little bit when she was Vulcan-y in season 1. I thought, like, I felt she was a little, but that's just like a Vulcan. Rough. Yeah, but that's just like I think because she, you know, was raised by Vulcans, like,
and
so
arrogance is why she Vulcan neck pinched Giorgio like in the beginning too,
Right,
like
thinking she
so
knew
is
better and stuff
everything.
like
Yeah.
that. Exactly, yeah. And so Dal has a lot. Like in this episode, Janeway's like, "Oh, we have an M-class planet." He's like, "Nope, we're not going." He's like, "Nope, we're never leaving the ship." Basically, we're not getting
Mhm.
off the ship. I thought it was interesting that the Janeway hologram, kind of like was like, "Okay, I'll just report this to Starfleet." Like, I thought that was interesting. Like she knows how to play him, sort of. Like
Yes. It seems a bit more apparent now than ever that she knows more than she lets on. She's
Yeah.
dumber than she looks. I mean, she's not dumb, but
She's
you know what I mean?
not
Like,
as dumb as
she's acting like a hologram that doesn't have the extent, the amount of knowledge that one would assume a hologram would have. And another thing too, I think we're going to find out that this hologram is like as close to like the Doctor in terms of sentience and like just awareness than we were originally led to believe. Like you mentioned,
It's
it the first
absolutely
episode. You think
EMH
she's-
tech that's been used for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like as close to the real Janeway as you're going to get. Probably.
And
Yeah,
all
I
the
think it is.
all the EMHs can get upgraded. Like once the Voyager got back home, the Doctor's programming could have like upgraded all the EMHs in the system. So it's possible that this ship's, or like even through subspace, they probably
But
update
dude,
each other.
don't you remember like his like emergency command hologram like capacity? He was like a doctor, but then he like
I don't think I've got to.
updated.
Have I got to that
Mm.
episode yet? What season?
Oh, he's full of arrogance in that.
And he updated so that he could like be in command of the ship and control the ship's functions. So to me, like the Janeway is kind of a more like command hologram than like she's more like, I mean, she's got like a different capacity than the Doctor. Instead of having like medical knowledge in her database, like she knows like how to like control the ship's functions.
It will be interesting to see if anyone gets an injury, like what is going to happen on the ship. Like we haven't seen, sick bay, or if there is a sick, I'm sure there has to be a sick bay.
They have to have an EMH, right?
Yeah, they're gonna have
Robert
an
Pickard-
image.
The
think
medical
Robert
emergency
Picardo's
hologram
gonna
is going
come
to
back.
pop up, played by Andy Dick.
Yes. Someone give Andy Dick a chance. I believe in him. What was Jankum eating? Says I couldn't stand Dal last week. This week was a little bit better. Hollow Nanny is too dumb to be captain. She didn't mention the danger of the Hirogen nor the Thoron emissions. Oh yeah, they were in Hirogen space.
Yeah,
But weren't-
That shows you how far the Hirogens travel throughout maybe the Delta and maybe Beta quadrant.
Mhm.
Because they in Voyager, I don't know if it's ever established where exactly Hirogen space is, but if this show, if where they are now is closer to the Alpha Quadrant than where Voyager was,
Yeah.
it's interesting that like Hirogen space is just kind of nearby. And I'm confused that like, is she taking them like further into the Delta Quadrant, or is she trying to get them closer to the Alpha Quadrant? I don't understand.
I think she's
Exactly
trying to get
where
them to
they're
the.
going.
She's trying to get them to the Federation, like the Starfleet. I think that's where she's trying to get them, and she's helping them plot courses, etc. It's just that if Dahl decides to plot a course that way, then I think now, like once he's learned his lesson with the whole nearly dying at a star thing, so now they're plotting courses in the right direction.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna make it to Alpha Quadrant or to Starfleet, because wouldn't that mean giving up the ship and then the show ends, right? Like the ship somehow
pretty
has.
much established that. Apparently, they've established that that's what they're doing. The show's going to spend more time in the Alpha Beta than it is in the Delta. Apparently,
Okay, right on. But
because it's
what
about
I
them
guess
learning and discovering the Federation, right?
right.
It's about
but
adapting to that lifestyle and integrating into it.
I'm assuming the show is gonna have like lots and lots of seasons, but maybe that's just me.
Like
But like,
30.
how are they gonna like what's gonna happen if they encounter Starfleet? They're gonna want their ship back, right? Like, so I feel like they kind of have to always be on the run and kind of figure out a way to not,
Well, we don't know
Yeah.
what the ship was made for initially. We don't even know if like maybe this is the whole mission of the ship. Go out there, get found by a bunch of people, show them what Starfleet is, and bring them back.
But
You know,
I
like-
also
I doubt
think
that though. I mean,
No,
Yeah, I don't think it's a mission,
I doubt
but
it too.
yeah.
I'm just saying we don't know what it is yet. We don't know anything about the ship. We don't know anything about the mission.
I don't think they're gonna reach the Alpha Quadrant in this season. I think
No, that might not.
I always hoped that the end game would be Alpha Quadrant. They meet the real Janeway, And I'm thinking now where it's like 20 episodes, you could have that big arc in a season where the very end they meet the real Janeway. Then it's like a big question in season 2. Where do we go from here? They're in the Alpha Quadrant now. The Protostar is now confiscated. What happens to the characters?
I feel like
that would be a
like...
great journey for them to just like then go be actual cadets in Starfleet, and somehow at the end of season 2 end up on the Protostar.
That is interesting. Like maybe. It would be interesting if the show, like maybe not in season 2, although 20 episodes a season. We haven't talked about the news yet. Actually, that's something since last week.
What is the news?
That's a development.
The news.
PJ,
there's a season 2 that was announced, right?
Season 2 was announced, but season 1 is 20 episodes. That's the most episodes of a modern Star Trek series.
It is so many.
I mean, in hours, it adds up to 10 episodes because it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it adds up to the same amount of time as like a 10-episode season, more or less, of the other shows. But just the fact that there's 20 episodes, it's the closest to like a traditional old school season of Star Trek. Like,
I could have
shared
the screen by now if you gave me co-host powers, but
oh jeez, I haven't set that up yet.
The schedule is
is there like an image?
They go on hiatus after next week, November 18th, and they come back on January 6th. Now, some people are speculating that
we're only
maybe Discovery takes a break at that point. Prodigy comes in to fill the gap, and then Discovery picks up when that goes off. But the actual first half of
ends
the season
next week.
Ends February 3rd.
Oh,
so
wait,
presumably,
sorry. Yeah,
presumably Picard comes out soon after that, and then episodes 11 to 20 are still to be announced. So I'm assuming
sometime in the fall,
summer
or fall, yeah.
So this is a show where one season could span like an entire year. Like,
can you share that image, PJ? Are you able to share it?
That seems real messy.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, and so
it feels a little disrespectful to Prodigy too. It's like you can't just let them have their own season. You got to make them fill the gaps. This isn't short tricks. God damn it!
All right, here's. Can you zoom in a little? Here's the.
I don't think you can.
Oh, okay. Here's how it goes. So it's.
Wait, hold on. Here we go.
Zoom enhance.
To me, this is actually kind of awesome because I was really worried about the overlapping shows, like just at least in terms of like what I have to do.
Well, like, yeah, I agree. I too. But then just do the 10 Prodigies, and once that's finished, then release your Discovery. Does Discovery really have to? I don't know.
Yeah, Discovery needs to come out this year. It has.
Discovery had one. I think it was the first season, right? They had the mid-season break, and then they never did that anymore. They just went.
Well, it's because the first season they extended it to like 15 episodes, so then they decided to do a mid-season break. But the other seasons didn't have. They had 14 and 13, so I guess 13 doesn't justify a mid-season. Although here they're doing it.
Discovery had,
that break is so long, dude. Like it's almost like 2 months. It's like 7 weeks.
That's a bit ridiculous. Releasing 5 episodes and then stopping. Like, what is this, Rick and Morty?
Is that what Rick and Morty does?
Yeah, they do this random shit all the time. They're like, But I mean, sometimes they'll release like one April Fool's episode, which is fine. That's funny. But this is bizarre, especially like considering you want to release this for kids. You want to release it on Nickelodeon. You think you'd want to have your kids come back every week and watch it. Like, even though I'm not one that would dump an entire season, because I prefer the week to week, I almost feel like this show, they could have put it out entirely, and then they could have run the episodes like weekly on Nickelodeon, but like if the kids wanted to go and watch it on their tablet or whatever, they could. This is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
It makes our lives easier as creators, though. Now I don't have to worry about doing 2 videos a week. I'm fine with that.
But
there is a chance of an overlap in January of both Prodigy and Discovery. We just don't know yet because, I mean, with this news, like, who knows what the schedule is going to be like.
Also, it says here, the last update on October 20th says that Star Trek Prodigy will air on Paramount Plus with the first 20-episode season. It will then air on Nickelodeon before the second season is released. So it's not even going to air on Nickelodeon till the whole series is
That I can
complete.
understand. So that at
Right.
least, 'cause
So it makes
then you'd
sense.
then you'd have kids that just watch 5 episodes and they're like,
But that means
wait,
it's like
what?
a whole. It's possibly a whole year before it's gonna go on Nickelodeon. So we're actually watching. It's like so
Are people
people
in
have.
Europe seeing this and like the rest of the
No.
world?
No, it's just
God
Canada and
damn.
the United States. So it's
Oh my
interesting. It's an
God.
interesting show
I think
What an
Australia.
interesting
Something about
development.
Australia too. They have a thing with Star Trek.
With them?
licensing thing with Star Trek. I'm not sure.
I am puzzled
But
by
it-
all this.
it's
But
the
then I
same
don't
dilemma
understand
that-
how, like, yeah.
It's the same dilemma that Lower Decks had. This is a bit different because who knows why or how, like, we weren't told beforehand before the episode or the season even aired how many episodes. It was just assumed that
that
it
it
was
was
going
gonna
to
be
be
10. Yeah.
I don't know if the Hageman
No,
brothers.
no.
I don't know if
They said it.
did they say it. Okay.
Either Hageman or what is it? Aaron, I forget his name.
Walkie.
Yeah, one person. Someone said the first season is going to be 10.
Okay. Well, it seems like if they had the first and second seasons mapped out, both 10-episode things, and then they looked back and realized, well, these 2 seasons are really just one big story arc. Why not just
Call
say,
it a season.
F it and then make it a season, and that way when it does go on Nickelodeon, kids have that saturation because with animated series you just can't have 10 episodes unless it's more adult oriented or more mature or something like that.
I see that.
I agree.
That
The
makes sense.
traditional format for kids is like usually it's even like it's 20-minute episodes broken up into 2 10-minute episodes, and it's that for like 25 episodes per season. Like usually it's just so much show to watch. So this makes more sense in that, like, if you're then releasing it once you're done with the streaming service, like once you're done with that, you want to release it on Nickelodeon, it makes more sense to have 20 episodes ready to go, right? And I think they might even break up the first episode into 2 parts and not release it as a 1-parter.
Yeah, I think
for
that's
the
what
Nickelodeon
for the
release.
Nickelodeon release. WWJE says, I hope this story concludes next week. I'm not into big cliffhangers. Wait, I know that's true. Like, there's a lot on the is like, so they have to kind of like.
This is going to be a serialized show. Like this might have the like the cliffhanger effect, like Game of Thrones every episode or The Walking Dead every episode keeps you. I feel like this might have that though.
It is only 7 weeks between the 5th and 6th episode. However, I think
And we'll have Discovery to keep us busy for sure.
I don't think they're gonna go all DS9 on us where they do like 3 and 4 parts or anything. They're just gonna have this.
This will resolve next week.
It should. I mean, come on. I mean, it can't be that complicated. I mean, I can't see them spending too much time in this place.
All right, I have to stop bitching. I have to stop bitching about this bizarre schedule. The episode itself, I think, was really good, and it showed the potential that this show can have. Because I wasn't sold necessarily on it for like up until now, but this episode I was like, "Fuck, this is really good." I think that the concept, the plot on full screen, the concept, like
So
the
rude.
plot on the planet was very interesting. It wasn't necessarily the most unique thing. I feel like we've seen variants of this in other media somewhere, but it was new enough for Star Trek. I can't come up with something similar. And I feel like it was an easy enough concept for kids to understand, like the stakes, what's happening, why it's happening, and it was a good I guess team building or like a looking out for each other kind of thing, which is what Janeway wanted them to do.
She's
So I think it
younger
was
than
really good.
she's younger than the target audience, I think. But what did you show this episode to the baby?
Yes.
And
So last week she stopped watching and started doing puzzles and shit, right? She was like, I'm not having any of this. I don't care. This one, she watched the whole thing through, and she even reviewed it. Like at the end of the episode, she said, "I liked it."
what?
Yeah, she's never said that for anything except like ice cream.
Dang.
And she said, "I like this. I like this."
That's
Or, I like
one
this.
sophisticated
So I'm
baby.
like, okay, yeah,
That's
see that?
literally.
Boom.
Dang.
I wonder
No,
if it
I was
was the lushness and the beauty of the
planet.
Yes,
you know?
because because like every time the opening credits come on, she says like, "So pretty, it's really nice." Like she likes the opening credits.
I love that
the
she gives
music
like
and
little
the-
commentary.
Mhm.
That's
She
cute.
was completely unfazed by Janeway with the plants. I thought she was gonna freak out on that because when I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know if she's gonna like that, but she's like, whatever.
It freaked
then,
me out. I
She
was
turned
like,
into
totally-
hexadecimal from Reboot for a second.
Oh yes, thanks for mentioning Reboot. I love that show. Oh my gosh.
And
Earlier,
Baby on the Tube confuses like scary and angry with like grumpy. Because usually she never really sees anything scary or angry, right? So it's like when Gwen's father got all mad, she just goes grumpy. Like, yeah. The planet's grumpy.
The planet is grumpy. WWJE earlier was saying, I love this episode, but I really hate it when the personality of hollows or androids is altered with a tweak of their programming. Yeah, I was really disturbed by that part too. The doctor tried to melt Seven's brain. Same with Data and Geordi. But in this episode, like Gwen was able to like make Janeway compliant. Like just by doing some tweaks on the thing. What did you guys?
Maybe Janeway was just playing along.
Oh, it's true. It's possible.
Give Gwen the illusion of power.
Like I feel like
is it an actual hologram of Janeway, or is it a holographic transmission of Janeway?
No, it's an actual.
It's not a transmission.
It's not a transmission. Yeah.
I feel like Gwen put in.
Okay, that couldn't work.
So no, I mean she would have to be live and like ready to go at any given moment. She'd literally have to be like
she's got other things to do.
Like actual Janeway would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to stop this Starfleet briefing. I have to go and pretend to be a hollow." Yeah,
she's on the turlet and like something happens in the process.
I like that you said turlet. That's interesting.
I feel like Gwen put in her command codes, and the ship, changed to like, do her will.
What is up with that? Like, by the way, she said my father, like she had this realization, my father's been teaching me all these things so that she could do this. Like, what did you guys think of all that?
Well, she's trained
specific to this ship though. Like I feel like she came to the realization that her father was training her for this ship.
Yeah.
But it feels like her father was just training you, generally speaking, so that you could pilot a ship.
No, I think because he keeps saying he thinks it's his ship. He keeps saying my ship, and like he's so obsessed with, like he really wants the ship, and it seems like he's been on it before. He at least knows how it works.
Ooh, I just had a idea, a revelation. I just want to cut in.
Oh my god, it's a Krall situation. It's a Edison situation.
Well, can I talk? No,
go ahead.
I think it could be that he designed the engine, and he feels ownership, and like Starfleet took it away from him. And he's like,
oh wow,
so maybe that could be because it's very personal, isn't it? Because
it's super personal. He's like really.
And so his regeneration chamber shit is based on the same tick, right? No, okay, sorry.
He needs maybe we did speculate before that he probably needs a ship for some kind of survival thing, either for himself or like his species, because their species are endangered. Or
they're the last. They're the last of their species.
The last of the species, yeah.
Is he really, really old? Maybe?
Could be. I mean, there's clues there that he may have been around for a long time, because it's always that thing in sci-fi when somebody tries to live a very, very, very long life. They have all this, like, tubes in them or, like, some kind of things propping them up. Or Rodolfo, is that his name from Insurrection? What's the guy from Stretchy Face?
Ruffo.
Yeah.
Like him.
This guy's more of a Snoke, though. He's like a
Rufio.
Or I was gonna say the Emperor and Rise of Skywalker. How like he's so old he needs to be propped up with machines and stuff. They need to reveal the mystery of like the Protostar, why he wants it. I don't want them going into season 2 with that still up in the air, like we don't know.
Totally.
I need to know.
He's got Discovery PTSD about not knowing things for too long.
Well, no, actually, to Discovery and other live action Trek's credit, they do have resolutions. They're just not very satisfying.
Oh goodness!
Fingers crossed, Hageman brothers.
and you know what? They're hitting it out of the park with this animation stuff. Because Lower Decks and Prodigy have been just entertaining to me, like more so than other stuff. So I mean, it's not that I hate the other stuff. It's visually it's a treat. It seems to line up more with like what I'm familiar with. The themes and the optimism are there. I'm not worried about like it going too far into like messed up territory. So there you go. Sorry.
PJ, you like dark storylines, dude?
It wasn't appropriate. I mean, I'd love to see a Star Trek show like hardcore, mature rated about Bajorans their conflict with the Cardassians.
Oh my
Because the
god,
stories they tell in Deep Space
fucking
Nine alone
trauma.
are just so horrific.
I would never want to see that.
That
I was
that
going to say Braxton would never watch
Yeah,
that.
but it would need to be about a hero. It wouldn't just be about death and destroy. It would need, like young Kira. Jesus, I'd love to see that.
Young
They're doing all the young shows now, like Young Sheldon, Young this, Young that, Young Rock, Young Kira,
Little Shacks.
Star Trek, Young Kira, and just well, actually, you know what? It would be, it's true though. A show like that would be so depressing. It probably never would be made, but I'm sure it's been written in some novels. I'd like to read a novel based on that kind of stuff. I gotta look that up.
You know what? I'm sure that
Find
probably exists, dude. There's so many Star Trek stories that have been written in book form. That's probably there's probably a book for that. Dude, so Tyler, you were saying that this was your favorite episode.
Like
so,
he finally is. Yeah, he was kind of on the fence about Prodigy, and now he's like, oh, I like it.
If this is the
I
quality
thought that
we can
last week's
deliver,
episode. I thought the last week's episode was actually a little better. Like as I think about because I watched like the episodes back to back today, like before now, and I really loved the scene where Rock Talk was going after Gwen as the ship was like making the like the secondary like escape pod. I thought that was really cool. That
Or
fight
the shuttle.
on the shuttle. And I also thought that the like the floating gases in the dying star. I thought those shots were really, really beautiful. Rock Talk is my favorite character. Like she was saying that she's only ate like a Nutra blend or something, or a Nutra meal, and it looked like sweet potatoes.
Nutri-Goop.
Nutrigoop.
And it totally looked like sweet potatoes. Like
Sponsored by Gwyneth Paltrow. Nutrigoop. She should totally. There should totally be. Go ahead.
She
Sarah.
kind of steals the show in a scene in this episode.
Oh, the cute.
With the little cute purple or blue
Yeah.
things. I can't tell what color they're. That instantly, when the thing gives her that little cute look, I'm like, oh, that's a toy. That's a plush toy right there.
Well,
Star Trek brand on it, like sell it to the kids.
I tried to ask baby what it was. I said like, so she's like, so I said, is that a cat? No. Is that a bird? No. And I went through a couple animals. She was just like, no. But we came to no genuine conclusion. She was just like, it's fun.
There's a
It's
moment
fun.
there's a
It's
cute
nice.
moment that I laughed at where she goes, "Oh, life sign detected. Oh, it's me." I'm like,
Speaking of the show being beautiful, I mean, just that re-entry, the entry scene into the atmosphere, and just the ship is so gorgeous. I
Those
love the
landscapes.
ship. Yeah,
Oh
the
my God.
landscapes were really pretty.
Yeah.
So like, I was, I think I actually think it's higher production value or production quality than Clone Wars. A lot of people are comparing it to Clone Wars, but I think this is like more like refined and like pretty looking with not too many tweaks. It could be thrown up in the big screen, I feel like, and it could work as like a
It's the
a
texturing
feature.
that have to be better handled if they wanted to throw it on the big screen.
Right, but already the textures are so lovely, like the metal
I feel
on
like
the protostar and
some
everything.
of the quality of the animation, depending on the scene, like some of the background elements, and I we're not idiots. We understand that it's made for TV, and sometimes you have to focus and you have to detail what's important in the shot. So what's in the background, sometimes you can just leave it as it is. I feel like sometimes the quality of animation lets down like the artistic vision, because the way they frame certain shots and certain scenes, and the way they've like, I don't know, like the design that they've chosen is really, really good, but the animation isn't quite as good as it could be.
I think,
But it's only certain scenes, but certain other scenes, it's amazing, right? Like,
yeah, the one thing I've noticed with the animation like I'm saying, this is a nitpick. This isn't even a thing that I care about or bothers me, but I just happen to notice it. It's with the animation has a very high level of detail, but sometimes, just sometimes, here and there, the lighting doesn't look the best it could, and there's something with the motion blur of the character animation where it looks very
Stop motion.
not more like a high, like it's filmed at a high frame rate, like kind of that sports thing where when you wave your hand, like there's no blur. It's just like you could freeze it at any point; it would be perfectly still. You know what I mean? So I think I'm picturing like if they made a movie version of this, I could see the show looking very, very similar, but those little things like lighting and the frame rate sometimes, like it seems like a bit choppy, but those are minor things that occur every now and again that I just don't even. But I know what you're saying. Like I think they're focusing overall because it is TV. They have a schedule and they have probably a really tight schedule, especially with CG animated shows, which are like very, very, very difficult to do. Some of the stuff in this episode almost looks photorealistic, and it's usually environments or objects and stuff. It's so much harder with the actual character animation. Rock Talk always looks great, you know. Dal looks great in a lot of parts, and sometimes it doesn't look so good, like especially close-ups. I find it's just I think it's the thing with motion blur. Like they don't achieve that right amount sometimes, but
I'll have to go back and pay attention now.
Overall, yeah, I mean these are like I said nitpicks, but
tiny nitpicks.
I think the animation may improve over time. I mean,
oh for sure they'll get better budget and things like that if they Gwyn's species is super cool, even though they do look like attractive versions of Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Now that she says that,
someone on the internet pointed out that they might be the species of that character from Star Trek Beyond that Crawl sends.
Oh hell no! Oh my god, that design, the waxy design they have in that movie. Where it's
what?
Like
you're not talking about the white things, like with like the
with the things and the hair and yeah, no, I can't see that. The one that's using the translator at one point, she betrays them.
Yes,
that alien. Yes, okay, no.
But
I really dislike that makeup design. By the way, I don't know why.
But have you seen like here? I'm gonna pull up I'm gonna flash a little image of it here real quick on the screen.
Maybe, I don't know.
Here. Do you guys see this?
That's gross. Does that look gross to some people? I don't know why. It seems like if I would touch it, I would cringe. If I were to touch her ears, like in the neck portion, I would like cringe.
Kind of feels like they stuck Twizzlers to her head.
Oh my god, it's like going on the neck and stuff.
Dude, she kind of looks like a cobra a little bit. Like
I don't think it's the same species. I don't think so.
Not a very attractive look.
Let me pull up a picture of Gwyn real quick, and so you guys can see why. I don't know if it's she could be like. That lady could be from like the southern hemisphere, and Gwyn's from like the northern hemisphere.
No, but keep in mind this is a Kelvin, so like the differences in Klingons from Kelvin and Prime.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Justifiable enough to make this like Kelvin and Prime of the same species. I don't think so though. I think that because Gwyn's got hair, whereas this person doesn't.
No, look, it's like attached. Gwyn's
I think it's just like a fade thing where like the hair is there, but it fades into her skull very finely. Or maybe I don't know how. Like I would need to see a live action version of that thing, and I don't think that's it.
Yeah,
I don't think that's it.
Live action
You're like zooming in closer and closer.
But look at it on the ears. Look at it.
Oh, it's so gross. Oh, it's gonna make me sick.
It's not high res enough.
It looks slimy and waxy. I don't like it. It seems like you put a Q-tip in there and like it would be like a big chunk of something.
Hey Arthur, nice to see you. Starfleet Boy is going natural today. What does that mean? What am I natural? Am I natural?
You haven't trimmed, dude.
Oh, this. Yeah, I gotta shave my beard. I'm lazy. I don't shave because I'm lazy. I prefer to be shaven or shorn. But I
took me a whole year to grow this up.
Yeah. But nice to see you, Arthur. Thanks for coming into the stream. Anyone else who wants to say hi in the chat, we love your questions, and we try to get to them as much as we can. I wish Murph would eat those little... I felt so sad for Murph in this episode. I appreciated that Gwyn had compassion for him and saved him. That
He was
like
cowering in the corner.
he
wanted
was
to go
like a
so
little
bad.
puppy or a little
Oh,
kitten. It was like
save
He
I
needs
know
to
he's
grow
like,
up and be a man.
no. we got Fathery, yo, and this time from Facebook instead of YouTube. You can see the little F. Oh, that's cool. The StreamYards always do that, like put a little F.
What?
Yeah, look, see, there's a little YouTube logo, and then there's like a Facebook logo.
Isn't it?
Oh.
Isn't it not even? Isn't it? What is it? Meta now. What isn't?
That's
Isn't
the
he supposed to
overall
be in the
company.
metaverse?
And Facebook
Meta.
is just still the app, but like you
Yeah,
know,
we're supposed to get the Meta
Oh, really?
logo. Now. It's
So
true.
nothing's changed. It was all just.
and they're rebranding Oculus to Meta as well. So like your next like Rift is probably going to be like a Meta something.
You can
Nice.
call shit a different thing. It's still shit.
What was I gonna
I'm
say?
sorry. I've had bad experiences with Facebook. Fuck them. Anyway,
Okay, that's
let's
your
continue.
one. We're back to PG-13. That was your one
That was the
transgression
one I'm
for this
allowed.
What did you
Only
guys
one
think of
F-bomb.
the?
That's right.
What did you guys think of the tricorder and the phaser was pretty redesigned, I thought. Like, but the tricorder looked familiar. But what did you guys think of the tricorders and the phasers?
Tricordery and phasery. So that's good.
They look familiar.
No, they looked, they looked enough like a tricorder to be recognized as one, and same for the phaser. I think they were kind of maybe, I don't know if I'm gonna say simplified or updated. I think they were made so that kids could like identify with them easier. Like they felt like it felt like a bit of a phone or like a.
I think we're gonna get toys.
Tablet, yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think toys is yeah. I like there's definitely Murph plush dolls and stuff coming. Absolutely, but I think it was good. And like Braxton said in the beginning, I feel like everything was more subtle than in the previous episode, in my opinion, in the way they presented stuff, because it was very clearly a teaching moment. She wasn't just teaching the kids, the crew. She was teaching also like the kids that have never known or watched Star Trek. This is what a tricorder is. This is why we use it and how we use it, when we use it. This is a phaser. Guy shoots himself. It's funny, but it's also, oh, by the way, it doesn't kill. We don't kill on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that do?
It's the tricorder. It looks like a BlackBerry, actually, shape-wise.
This would be an excellent time to full screen.
Hold on. I got you, but I got you. I'll do you one better here, PJ. Hold on.
I got you, fam.
I got you. I got you, fam. All right, here we go.
What?
All right, there we go.
Oh, you got it. Okay, good.
Yeah. So
Look at this. He's got all of these things. You should be working for my channel now. Send me these kind of things.
No, dude,
This is,
Everything has to have a touch screen on it with it, like a visual interface.
This is from Reddit, by the way, to give credit. I don't know who the poster is. It didn't say, but someone screen capped it. And then I guess they did an illustration here. So it is, I mean, it's very familiar, but it's like, it's totally new in a lot of senses, like this shape. I'm excited. I like this view here in the front is really cool too. I like this new phaser design. It's pretty cool. I can't wait. If a toy comes out, I'll definitely
It's a
be
bit
getting
bulky. It's a bit, chunky, but it's very TNG.
Just don't point it at yourself.
But yeah, look at
Place
the
yourself.
crazy touchscreen and it's curved, which is kind of cool too.
does a phaser hurt when it's like set to stun and knocks you
Oh
out?
yeah, it probably feels like
Being electrocuted?
like an air blast or some it probably hits you like a, I don't know, like a taser or something like that.
Tenkan Pog is a strong enough dude, though. He can handle it.
I
just
thought it shocks your nervous system to where it like disables you and you just pass out.
Right, but I feel like there's a hit. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Like you would feel it, but you would just instantly be gone. You probably have a headache when you wake up, maybe.
Because like when it's set to stun, like people like get hit and they just like drop immediately. I feel like they don't have like any kind of reaction usually.
No,
like,
sometimes
pain.
I feel like sometimes the stun like knocks you out too. Like I guess there's different stun settings, or
It depends on the actor. Some people throw themselves backwards, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's weird. They have different. Sometimes they'll be pointing the phaser at somebody, but the beam will be going like down or to the side, or like not even in the right direction.
Actually, this looks like one of those new gen Pokédexes that are in the new Pokemon games.
The what?
Oh wow, a Pokédex.
I didn't even understand any of that. Just say that again.
Okay,
Pokédex.
Okay.
But yeah, is that Pokemon?
I seriously
something?
didn't understand what he
it's
just
something
said.
He's talking about Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon. Okay.
Pokemon. Yeah. Arthur says tricorder looked a bit different to me.
It's still a thing that people do.
Arthur says tricorder looked different to me, but now I'm looking at it, it's true. And Father's saying looks more like a pad than a tricorder. Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, it does look like a pad, but it has a section like here. It shows it here where there's like
it's a section for urine and stool samples.
And it pops up like this. See, like it actually extends and pops out, which is pretty cool. So that's interesting.
Why would you need to pop it up, do you think? Like, it doesn't have a keyboard.
I guess the pop-up thing, maybe I have to pay attention in the episode, but I feel like whenever it popped up, it did more stuff. Like, I don't know. It's like interesting.
So people still play Pokemon.
Yes, I think Pokemon's huge because of that. Didn't you hear about that sensation, the Pokemon Go?
See, I was too old for Pokemon, so I don't know.
No, but just recently more people got into Pokemon because you had that Pokemon. What is that? The augmented reality Pokemon. Where
it's still evolving.
Isn't that Pokemon Go?
Popularity
yeah,
is still happening. Because people used to go around playing that one summer, and then they just stopped. But
there's like a screen, and you can see through it, and it's like a thing that opens.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That's a real device that exists?
No, it's on Pokemon.
It's in the game. It's like a...
Oh, fuck. Jesus. Sorry.
Dude,
Sorry.
PJ.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
But, you shouldn't... This is not for kids anyway, so gives a shit.
No, this is not. That's true, but still. We're like trying to be PG-13 here.
Yeah, well, I've heard two they say the F word in the new Bond movie. Come on now. It's rated PG. It's PG.
It's PG-13.
They have an F word.
All right. Just try your best.
I'm sorry, it slipped out.
No, it's totally cool.
I think this conversation has gone on way too long. It's only a half an hour episode.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
How do we all feel about Janeway sending? Because, assuming Janeway truly believes they're just a bunch of cadets, how do you feel about her just randomly dropping them off on alien worlds? Isn't that really dangerous and kind of scary? I know that they've technically scanned the planet in advance. It's class M. There's no danger, but isn't that a really kind of crazy thing to do?
Dude, the safety protocols are off.
That was the best answer. Yes, I agree with that. No, I think that the ship scanned the planet and didn't detect anything. So she thought, this is going to be a walk in the park.
You never detect what's going to happen.
No, we know that, but she's probably this is going to be a walk in the park.
300 years they never detected anything.
Well, she does mention the cilia on the planet. On the planet, it's just she doesn't know it's evil cilia. That's the only thing,
right. And the cilia is supposed to be non-sapient, so it's not supposed to have a desire to make you stay. Now, what do you think? Does it absorb? Because I haven't seen any skeletons on the planet. So what? Eventually, would it have just absorbed them into their? I guess that's what happens.
It seemed like that's what it was doing with Rock Talk.
Yeah,
it decomposes you basically.
Oh, that's harsh.
I love it. It's
after a while, Rock Talk is gonna be like, oh, this I'm having fun. My skin burns. I'm dissolving.
Oh my gosh, it's like a Venus flytrap planet.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of like what it is. Yeah, it's interesting. A couple more comments and then PJ will end the show because we are at the hour mark. I'm so sorry. No, it's
I've effed it all up, eh?
That's better. Yeah, you can say that.
B. Oh my.
Rock Talk is such a sweet girl.
With regards to the phaser, Father says seems like a good halfway phaser between Nemesis and Picard, and Jill's pointing out that it does look super easy to point it the wrong direction. It's kind of true. I don't blame Jankum Pog for doing that. I like the delta on its side too. There's deltas. I don't mind it anymore. I've gotten used to it because I guess Star Trek modern Star Trek puts
Starfleet's
deltas.
really into branding now, aren't they?
Yeah, like it's just it was a
Slap
little
that delta
it's a little
everywhere.
weird that like there's deltas and everything, especially what happens if you're on a
Under your
covert.
boots.
It's just like what happens if you're on a covert mission? Like, do they remove the deltas like so that like no one knows who you are?
They just put Cardassian or Klingon symbols on everything just in case. He's not with us.
It's true. Are we
He's
gonna
a
see the?
Romulan.
Do we see? I mean, we do see. I mean, Klingon design, like the D7 has always had the at the bottom of the ship has had the Klingon, crest or whatever. But I've never seen them on the weapons. But maybe they're there. I don't know. But yeah, the Federation or Starfleet branding is new, but I've gotten used to it. I'm not like too crazy.
Well, didn't the original series shuttles have like a little delta on them?
Well, I did notice while we were doing the rewatch of the original series here on Starfleet Boy. For those of you who want to tune in, that's Saturdays at 3 p.m. But we are not going on this Saturday. There are a lot of deltas that appear, but nowhere near as much as like the Calvin movies or Star Trek Discovery.
They don't have like shoulder pads with millions of deltas on them.
No, but I mean like in Charlie X, there's a delta on the tights that they're wearing. So there are deltas on things throughout the original series as well. So it's not unprecedented.
If you lose a pair of pants or a phaser, then the alien people know where it came from.
Yeah, they're like, that's not ours.
The whole idea of the delta was
Starfleet.
the whole idea of the delta was it was specific to the Enterprise, and other
Correct.
ships didn't have it. It wasn't a thing that was throughout Starfleet, and then that had been since retconned, meaning that like the delta has always been just a general Starfleet symbol and not specific to the Enterprise.
Before we go, can we talk a little bit about each of the characters' visions? And do you think that like we already talked about Dal and his parents, but like, what do you think? Jankum saw like food. We saw Rock Talk saw these little cute things that were kind of harmless.
No, Rock Talk saw friends, I think.
Friends, yeah. And then, friends. Or like furry friends. Like that's why Rock Talk has Murph, right? Like I guess Rock Talk's like into animals. And then
very young and very lonely, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they
Rock Talk wants like a family. She wants like friends and like belonging,
And then what was Zero? Arthur was asking, like Zero saw the
just scientific intrigue, I think.
But it was the end, specifically that one mystery engine on the Protostar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That looks like him, actually. Kind of looks like him. Yeah.
But I like how it was a maze.
What are
like,
you?
It was a maze.
The Zero loves figuring things out. Like
right, that's good. Oh yeah, you're right.
The maze and finding his way.
Right on. And then, of course, Gwen sees her father, which is interesting too. I thought it was interesting how she actually believed it was him for a second too.
And he turns into Freddy Krueger.
And then he reaches out for a hug, and she's like, "Oh, I know you're not my father."
I think it's telling, and I had kind of tuned into this earlier, but Dal sees his parents, but he also sees Janeway. So he really I think he really likes, I think he feels comforted and safe around Janeway. Like she's an authority figure who he can feel safe around, and he's letting his guard down, and he almost thinks of her as like a mother, I think.
But what do you think eventually of Janeway turning and becoming evil? Isn't that part of his fear that she may betray him?
It's part of his fear, but also I think it was just like
it's very deep. Very deep.
Yeah, it is it's a very deep and philosophical episode. It's true.
But what just happened, Jared?
What
just happened?
Where?
I don't know. What do you mean? Something happened?
Oh gosh, I feel like everything just slowed down for 15 seconds.
Oh, the internet. That must have been
your shrooms kicked in. Okay.
Or something.
It's everything's slowing down.
The spores on this planet. By the way, newer Star Trek loves spores. Just saying, they were mentioning the spores.
They love the spores. All about the spores.
Since the motion picture, the Delta has been for Starfleet. Yeah, it's true. They unified the Delta. What I do think is interesting is all the new shows have a slightly different Delta. Discovery has the split one. Picard has this one, which is also split but different. Prodigy has a different Delta, and so does Lower Decks. So it is interesting that all the different shows have a variant Delta. No two Deltas I mean, they don't all take place in the same era either, so it makes sense. But yeah,
I
and
don't
Father is
think
right.
it
He
was-
says
I don't-
old Trek loves spores too. What were you?
I don't think it was ever said like on the show though, like on TOS, that only the Enterprise had deltas. I think that was
Well,
established.
every other
after.
ship had a different combat symbol.
No, but
Yeah.
he's right. Father just said they had deltas on Starbase 11. There are places they go in the original series that also have deltas.
The
So
Delta
it's
Club is just the coolest club, and it won at the end. They were just like, oh yeah, we don't
but
need any more other.
It's like
designs.
every other different ship didn't have a delta symbol, is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm sure they were around, but I thought it was just
I had
personally thought it was-
headcanon
I
that
thought
considering it was
I
the most
originally thought it was
successful
just
mission-
exclusive to the Enterprise, but I guess not.
No, I had canon that it was the most successful mission, or like that was maybe the most successful team, or whatever it was, like that division there.
Delta
so
team.
Delta team were the best. So they went with that when they made the rest.
Jill says,
Force.
I really wanted to know what Murph's fantasy or dream would be, and I think it's just eating things
Eating things,
like eating like because Murph eats like a hologram in the last episode, and it's just like Murph likes to eat. And then Arthur says, "Do you think Murph will turn out to be a gel pack like on some people were speculating that the biomimetic gel pack I don't think Murph is going to be that, but the producer and co show writer Aaron Watkey did say that Murph is a deep cut from not the shows but some beta thing like the novels or the expanded universe or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we have to figure out what it is. So let's wrap it up, guys. Give your final thoughts, and we'll start with Trek on the Tube, who has to go soon. He always has to go right on the hour mark.
I gotta go.
Yeah, it's like
now.
right on the hour mark. So it keeps
I think
us
it
on
was
track.
I think it was a good episode. I was very pleased with it. I think it is visually stunning. I have complaints, but it's visually stunning. I felt that it was better handled in the way it was delivered, so it was just as appropriate for children as it was for adults. It wasn't too obvious. I enjoyed the character developments. I didn't have any specific problems with Dahl. I do think he's a bit annoying, but I think he has a good heart, and that's kind of where they're going with him. I would give it a 7.5.
Excellent. Oh, I forgot to go first. I just give this episode another close to 10, around the 10 area, and I really loved it. I thought it was really good.
Pre-10.
And it's like a pre-10. It's like right around there. PJ, what did you think?
7.5.
Nice. Audience, let us know what you would give this if
Done.
you would give it a rating as well. Father, the link you sent is a favicon from StarTrek.com,
Ooh, wow.
which I'm not sure what that is.
I'm gonna be
He says it
canceled for saying
explains-
the F word 2 times on the show. I can't-
No, you're not canceled. You're fine. It's fine. Our daytime
I live
audience.
such a rich life too.
It's true. You're fine. You're fine. Braxton, what do you say as far as ratings and final thoughts?
You know, I was gonna go 7, but now I'm gonna go 7.5. Because I don't want to be the
Starfleet
lowest.
boy, make it a 7.5. Be one of us for a change. One of us for a change.
Hey.
Because last episode was my favorite of the season thus far. I did enjoy this one. You know, like Jill, I do not enjoy a cliffhanger. So you know what? A 7. I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna take off a half a point because
Rip it off.
I'm on a cliffhanger and I wanted to feel whole.
And I'm worried,
I mean,
just
then
like
again, Braxton doesn't like surprises. Wants to know all the shows in advance. So
Yeah,
if
it's-
you
I
do-
think
if you
it's
do
very cute. It's very
anything with
endearing.
intrigue, he takes points off.
yeah.
He wants all the answers straight away.
No,
You need to deliver like a notebook at the beginning so he can read everything.
And
Uh,
Rock Talk is my favorite character.
continues to be. Yeah.
Mhm.
I still haven't chosen a favorite. It's really hard to tell. I really like them all, so I'm kind of trying to
Rock
figure it out. I don't know if it might be Rock. It might just be Murph. I don't know. I really
It's
like
Murph.
I mean, Hollow Janeway for now. I'm just gonna say as a default, it's Hollow Janeway because she's just. I love her every time she's on screen, and especially when she's just her personality. I just love her. I think she's fantastic.
I think
can't get
Zero
enough.
is amazing, and I think Angus Emery there is doing the most wonderful of jobs voicing Zero. Honestly,
His
I'm
voice
blown
is
away
so
by that.
light and innocent.
It's so
Oh,
good.
that's
He's
the
an
man
explorer.
who voices
It
Zero.
is. It is.
It is a young
man.
man. He was in a movie with
The kid-
Patrick Stewart.
The art.
He was in a
Something-
movie. He was in a movie called The Kid Who
pla-
Would Be King.
Right, and he plays
Yeah.
Merlin in that
He's
movie.
Merlin.
Yeah, so which is kind of a similar
Hello, I am
mysterious
Merlin.
like man.
And
And
let's sword.
Let's finish on that note because there's a villain. The villain in that movie, The Kid Who Would Be King, is like a very freaky villain. It's like an enchantress woman that has like all of these vines and creepy like plant-like things that come out of her, and it reminded me of this episode very much.
Interesting.
Ooh, wow.
Very good ending note. Everyone go check out these wonderful folks. You can find Braxton on Twitter at Leviathan
026.
026. You can find PJ at Boatwreck, and this week is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Is it still 9 p.m., right, PJ, or 8? Did you move it to 8?
It's Saturday.
Saturday. Oh, tomorrow's Friday.
At,
That's
At
right.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Sorry, Saturday
It's
at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead.
Our watch along for the episode The Forsaken, which features the late great Major Barrett as Luoxana Troy.
That's right.
Wow, I love the Walk Santa Shore.
And what about After Dark? Who's doing that? I don't know. You gonna have a co-host?
Oh yeah, we should.
You're gonna give somebody power. over
Yeah,
your
I
show?
might give. Yeah, I don't have a
You
problem. with doing-
you actually gonna start the countdown at the beginning this time?
I do. What I've been doing is what like Father does. I'll go online real quick, say hello to everyone, and then, so that everyone sees it. Because if you just start it, it cuts it off a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you play it right at the beginning. So I try to.
I never
'cause-
had that problem because I time it right.
Because you time it just right. You'll have to
I
show
know,
me your
I-
tricks.
It appears to start late on your screen. That's the thing. But when you play
Yeah.
it back, it usually starts when you click it.
Check out Trek on the Tube, everybody. He just dropped his review for last week's episode, and that was a very heartfelt apology. He was like going on and on about the runtime.
I felt bad for that.
It was really nice.
I felt bad
I was
about
very-
being like not knowing my stuff great.
Yeah, it was
I
like
tried
I don't know
I'm
how
trying to
much
know my
more I
stuff.
can tolerate.
And then everyone check out tomorrow. Text Trek is going to talk about this episode of Star Trek Prodigy. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And they do a very fun deep dive with lots of cool visuals. So check that out tomorrow on Text Trek. Thank you, everyone in the audience, for joining us. Thank you, everyone in the audience who participated. We love it. We love your questions. I'm sorry if I didn't get to get all your questions. We'll get to more of them next time. So live long and prosper, and we will see you.